This is awesome.
Oh, Clark, hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It's our Smallville recap podcast. I'm Brian. Zach's here. Zach, hello. Halloween. It's not Halloween, but it could be.
I am just excited to talk about this Smallville episode that opens with a man getting bitten in the dick.
There is no point to even burying the lead. Sure enough, that I think we get mark it on our big list. It's the first dick bite of Smallville.
This episode is talked about a lot amongst the Smallville community, generally in a negative connotation. They think this is one of the worst. I would disagree, which we'll talk about. But they really bury the lead when they list their summary of the episode, complaints. No one talks about the dick bite.
Not one. We had to go into this and discover the dick bite on our own.
Like, on the one hand, I'm glad it didn't get spoiled for me. But
right.
On the other hand,
you had texted me about the dick bite, and then I forgot you had texted me about the dick bite, and then I was watching it this morning. I'm like, son of a bitch warned me about the dick bite, but there it is.
And it's not like a dick bite like Beethoven the dog bites someone, bad guy in the crotch or whatever. It's like a guy who thinks he's about to get a blowjob gets his dick bitten instead, and not like in a playful way. Like,
no.
Full
Which
on
I'm going to say, I don't want that either.
No, but, I'm not going to yuck someone else's yum.
True.
But the full on.
It's, ooh. This is the Kryptonite Vampire episode, Zach. And all bets are off. All dicks are not safe. Keep them in your pants. Kryptonite Vampires are here.
Brian, did you think this is the worst episode of Smallville?
I think once upon a time it would have been on my list. I think when I watched it the first time, I was definitely in the Kryptonite Vampires camp.
Right. You're like, get this silly shit out of my Superman show.
Right. Exactly. Right. Which is a ridiculous place to be in.
Right. And I'm not here saying this is a good episode. I don't think it comes anywhere near my top 10 worst episodes.
No, same. I don't think it all works. I don't think it all comes together. But no, I've had way worse times with episodes of Smallville.
Is much more Batman and Robin than Battlefield Earth.
There's absolutely a sense of camp here.
Yes.
How well it pulls it off is another thing, but they're having fun here. Though Goff and Miller on the commentary for this episode said it's the worst one they've ever made. They themselves don't like it.
Oh no, I remember that DVD release. They took a poll, I think, to see which episode to do commentary on. I think the fans picked that one because it was so divisive.
That's funny.
I think, if I remember right, they do admit it's bad and rip into it, but by the end of it, one of them is like, this isn't as bad as I remember.
It's really not. It's really not. But if you look up worse episodes of Smallville, this frequently does come in at number 1 or number 2. Though we are also defenders of Spell, the witch episode. Defenders is
all
a strong
of season
word.
4. We are. I mean, I think this kind of episode offends one specific kind of Smallville viewer, and that's like the comic book person.
Right.
But the other half, or whatever percentage of, teen soap watchers, I don't think they loved it, but I don't think they're like as put off and offended by a silly Halloween episode. Halloween episodes are frequently really stupid and silly for a lot of shows.
Yes, absolutely. I'll also say this, according to the commentary, this was meant to be a cheap episode. There's no huge effects here. This one was meant to be kept pretty under budge. So like it is. We already said it's not a great episode of Smallville.
No,
We're not sitting here going like, actually, this one's great.
But it does feature a pizza boy getting his dick bitten, possibly
straight up. We do the hot tub that they're in. Like it turns Jaws red.
Yes, that was gnarly.
Gnarly. It starts off pretty hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Never reaches that height again. But just hiccuping right into the microphone.
But that is the amount of blood that would come off if you bit off a dick, probably, right?
If you had said his dick definitely did get bit off, I would not say there was not enough blood in that hot tub.
No, no, more than enough. There was
more than
blood
enough,
aplenty in that hot
tub. Zach, before we get too much further into Smallville, can I tell you a thing that happened to me the other day?
Of course you can.
So I went to see the new film Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Excellent.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. We'll probably talk about it on Patreon at some point in greater detail.
I'm excited because I think I know the story you're about to tell because I follow you on Letterboxd. Okay, great. Sorry, just let me get the popcorn.
So I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna get to see this movie, and I see that there are some early showings. It was supposed to technically come out Wednesday. Wasn't quite sure when in the week I was going to get to go. I have a child and all, and so I saw there was one actually on Tuesday night, and I say to my wife like, "Hey, can I sneak out?" And she's like, "Yeah." So I catch a 9:30 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Williamsburg by myself. And I look like a guy who would go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by himself. And I walk into the theater, and there is one other man here for a 9:30 Ninja Turtles. He is by himself. And I take my seat and I turn around and I go, so I have chosen to engage with it. It's not like I'm walking by him passing. I have sat down several rows in front of him, turn around to engage this man. And I say, hopefully jovially, I mean to come across as funny, of like, hey, two adult dudes seeing Ninja Turtles on their own, huh? I think I even throw in there like a nice. This man, Zach, he's looking at his phone. His eyes go from his phone to my eyes. No emotion. Shark's eyes. Does not say anything. Does not acknowledge me in any other way, and his eyes go back to his phone. Just ices me. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I go, sorry, and I turn around. So eventually, more people do come into this theater. And this man sits through an entire feature film with the knowledge that he just absolutely fucking bodied me. It was, it was mixed with deep, deep respect and the realest humiliation I had ever felt.
No.
Not in a real way, but in like, it's my fun attempt at like, I don't want to be friends with the guy, but we can go, Ninja Turtles. Clearly
Honestly,
we have something in common.
It just means he's insecure, man. It's nothing to do with you. He's insecure about his love for Ninja Turtles.
But it's still wild to have to turn, because I turned around to face this man. So then I have to like, welp, and physically turn my body back towards the screen.
You know, I think you did the right thing, and I think he's in the wrong, you know? not in the wrong, but what's the harm? You tried to engage him. He ghosted you to your face, which is impressive.
To my face, which I suppose on some level, a Brooklyn, a late Brooklyn showing, and a strange man just turns around and goes, "Ninja Turtles."
Yeah, he's probably if I engage, this guy's gonna want to keep talking.
That's I mean, that certainly could be all I'm looking for, to be clear, is hey, yeah, and a thumbs up.
Right, exactly.
That is the extent of our relationship that I am looking for.
In his head,
right, I would be doing that math as well.
You give him Mouse a cookie.
Yes. I'm going to sit next to you, and we're going to be buds. I'm going to talk to you. Don't get me wrong. I would have also been way into having a new Ninja Turtle friend. But it was not to be.
Oh, well, at least you got that hilarious story out of it.
I got that. I
got joy from it.
That. Also, we'll talk about it more on the page. Movie's nice. It's good. It's nothing to ever touch.
I'm trying to talk my brother into going with me on Sunday. I don't know. He gave me the well, I'll let you know. Like, come on, bro.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's I would say 3.5 star movie in a vacuum. As a guy who never thought we were going to get a good Turtles movie ever again, I was in absolute heaven.
You know what? I am high off of Barbenheimer, and I'm just last week I almost went to see Haunted Mansion. I'm I want to go to the movies.
I love movies.
Movies.
Well, we'll be talking about all of those things very soon, likely on the Patreon while they live in my brain, because I also saw Barbie and Oppenheimer, and I have things to say about both.
One movie
we're not talking about that.
One movie we probably won't be talking about on Patreon is The Meg 2.
And that should be up my alley. That should be my shit. I
saw the first Meg in 3D, Brian, because I was this is going to be up my alley. Nope.
That's what. So I have not seen the Meg.
Don't waste.
That's
your
what
time.
I hear. It's how bad can you? I'm a Deep Blue Sea fan,
No.
The bar is not that high.
This episode of Smallville is better than the Meg. Much better. I would rather watch this twice in a row back to back than watch the Meg.
Oof, the Meg. But speaking of this episode of Smallville, we watched the 5th episode in the 5th season of Smallville. It's the 93rd episode overall. It's called Thirst, and it aired October 27th, 2005. I know all this, of course, because I'm reading directly from the Smallville wiki at smallville.fandom.com. I accidentally closed all of my windows.
I do want to say this is one of the huge losses our culture has suffered in the age of streaming is the loss of the Halloween episode.
Just the law, yes. The seasonal, 1,000,000% yes.
I mean, in general, seasonal episodes are mostly lost in the age of streaming. There are still some shows that air on networks, and we still get those things. But I can't explain to you how much I look forward to Halloween episodes every year.
Yep, agreed. And sometimes streaming shows will still do them. They'll just drop them in the batch. But here's the thing, Ted Lasso. You show me a Christmas episode not at Christmas time, it's no good. It's no good.
Right.
It has to be around Christmas time.
And you know what I just realized that's kind of interesting is I don't think Smallville's ever done seasonal episodes up until this point. And this season we get this episode and we get Lexmas.
Yeah, interesting.
This is a year they were going.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I wonder if that was the WB or if it's the Smallville people. Let's have some fun.
Right. Interesting. That's another one to put on the list of questions to ask Talkville.
Yeah.
Which one day we'll do. One day we'll do it. So getting into the recap here, Chloe is at the Daily Planet headquarters in Metropolis interviewing for an intern job with the new editor-in-chief, Pauline Kahn. Pauline Kahn, of course, is played by the one, the only, the late, the great Carrie Fisher. I wonder why. I think maybe she was just kind of taking genre TV roles at the time.
I don't know. I don't know why. I know she's friends with Michael Rosenbaum, kind of, or acquaintances with him, but I don't know if that had anything to do, because they don't have scenes together or anything. But
right.
She comes in. That was probably a day, right? A day's work, tops.
Right. Yeah.
But she comes in and she's throwing heat, man. She's just like, oh, okay, I get this role. Oh, I can do that. Let's go. Roll the camera.
I'm going to bully this recent high school graduate for no reason, I think. Because she had privilege. She has some privileges.
Yes, there are some very Carrie Fisher-esque little zingers in there that are fun.
For sure. Ms. Kahn is unimpressed with the column Chloe wrote in high school and tells her that Lionel Luthor's arm twisting was the only reason she got the opportunity. It is true. Chloe had a column, a regular column in a major newspaper. What could that have been about?
Yes. But on the other hand, Brian, this high school girl, from the time she was 14, broke several murder cases.
Yeah, right.
she was often reporting the news before major news outlets in her high school newspaper.
Her school newspaper got scoops.
Yes. So like, let's not pretend that it was just the normal paper. She did some pretty exemplary work.
Yeah.
Maybe the writing is terrible. Maybe that's like we just don't know that she's just a terrible writer.
Yeah, she just slams on her keyboard a whole bunch of times.
She's really good at looking like she's typing. She's got that down.
Perfect at it. Great typing work from Allison Mack.
It really is, actually. I don't think I make that many faces when I type. I just had a thought. But it works on the screen.
I was just listening to a podcast and they talked about Ben Kingsley as a performer. Sir Ben Kingsley. And his apparent whole thing is he challenges himself every single take to do less. If you're going to do another take, he's going to do less and less and less. And I think Allison Mack works similarly, but it's more faces, more typing faces. 10th take, she's fully leaning into the keyboard like...
I am typing things.
Yeah. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack.
When I used to make movies when I was in high school and shortly thereafter with my friends. And one time I had a buddy. These are not real actors. These are my friends, And he was in a scene. I think he was on the keyboard. And I'm like, okay, you're typing. And then basically you get tired and then you get up to go to bed. And we recorded and he's typing. And then he goes, oh, I'm tired. I was like, no.
Yeah. What does that tell? Don't show.
Yeah. I'm so tired right now.
Yeah.
I better get up and go to bed.
So Pauline Kahn dismisses Chloe, but Chloe tells her that she doesn't expect special treatment and is willing to work her way up to the top. Pauline Kahn tells her that she will consider hiring her if she produces a good story. We switch to Chloe's narration, and she continues to work on her report on the Tri-Psi sorority. So at their sorority house, a pizza boy arrives, and the girls invite him into the hot tub.
Cover your dick! Cover up your dick!
They're coming for it! They're hungry for it! I'm going to say, now, this pizza delivery boy certainly is a perfectly handsome young man
WB.
straight out of Vancouver Central
Yeah.
Casting. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, look, belongs. So he might have a different world experience than I do. I see 3 women in bikini suddenly like, yes, come to the hot tub with us. I'm like, that is a trap.
Right, exactly, yeah. Especially, like, imagine you and I at that age. We would have been like, I'm so uncomfortable.
I have to leave now.
Why are these women looking at me in the eyes?
They're gonna bite my dick. They're doing that because they're gonna bite my dick off.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna bite my dick off.
So at their sorority, blah, 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 blah. During the makeout session, the girls suddenly start biting him. It doesn't mention in the dick.
Yes,
the girl goes under.
Yes, exactly. So I think there's 3. There's 2, one on each shoulder, and then one in front of him. And she just lowers, like she's facing him, and she just lowers below the water, like she's going to give him head underwater.
There's only so many things that can happen here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which sounds like a really tricky maneuver to me.
It
giving head underwater.
Doesn't sound. Yeah. Right.
And also less pleasurable. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I know this because I have no experience with
She could drown. She could drown doing that.
Right.
And then she lowers under the water, and then he goes, ah! And then they all start biting him and stuff. So, I mean, I guess she could have, like, just gotten him in the thigh, but...
Right. Why? No need to get all... No, we know what happened.
The implication is that he got his pee-pee bitten. That's the implication.
Oh, man.
I just want them to acknowledge it. That's the implication. Just someone.
Let's just get it locked in. That's. I
Can
mean, we know
who to call.
Grown-ups
about this teenager getting his dick bitten.
Just come clean. Just. I don't care if you got to throw a line in a comic somewhere. Just like, come clean. It's time.
We know what you did. We know what you did, writers.
We fucking saw it. I saw it. Don't tell me I didn't see it with my own 2 fucking eyes. I could see WB getting a little like, uh-oh, on that.
Well, see,
but maybe
were
not.
they, or were they, like, cheering them on? Because this is, like, the WB's, like, show us more skin, give us more girls in underwear. It must have been a mandate, because we got 2 episodes here back to back.
Right.
That are egregious.
We're recording 2 episodes of this tonight, and it's a real 1-2 punch doozy of episodes.
This is if we were ever going to do a double feature, this would be a double feature, right?
So this episode deals a lot with a sorority. Spoiler alert: B'Elanna's going to join a campus sorority. Do you have much experience or knowledge of sorority fraternity life in colleges?
No, I had a couple of buddies who were in a fraternity at college, but I didn't go to college with them, and I don't really know. I hear stories once in a while, but I think they were more of a low key one. I don't think it was like cliche.
It's always it is always like so interesting. Bama Rush came out recently on Max. It's not a very good documentary about Alabama sorority initiation, but it is still interesting, and it's kind of terrible.
I mean, it never appealed to me.
No,
I don't.
No. It's my wife has told me about how when she went to college, she rushed, and I only recently learned what rushing even meant. And that's there's a couple of events for maybe multiple sororities, unsure, but basically you try to go to these parties or events, make friends, and you have to find someone to sponsor you. So my wife goes to a couple of these parties, doesn't know anybody, and doesn't meet anybody, and so imagine the idea of putting yourself out there and nothing coming back is so to me it makes me
that's
crunch inside.
That's your Ninja Turtles experience.
I don't know. That's I even forget just the general air of it of like, we're finding the best people here.
Right,
like, fuck you. I've never been
Blow
prouder to
me.
be a little garbage person, you know?
Yeah, blow me. And don't bite my dick off.
Right. Yeah. Don't do what happened. So Clark goes to visit Lana at Wiki. I have some questions. Zach, listen to this sentence. Clark goes to visit Lana at her theater and then steps into her apartment. I think describing the Talon as her theater.
Wait, does it start out in the theater and then move to her apartment?
I mean, like, the Talon has been hardly acknowledged as a movie theater.
Right. They weren't in the theater set.
Right. Which I don't think we've seen in seasons.
Right.
There's no acknowledgement of a movie theater. Why did they call it her theater in the wiki?
I don't know, wiki writer.
It's
wiki writer.
It would just say the Talon.
Right.
But, like, if you're gonna go, you'd call it coffee. And it's also not hers anymore.
Wouldn't
She
you
doesn't
just
own it
go
anymore.
Clark visits Lana at her apartment?
That makes sense. Thank you once again, Wiki, for writing our show for us.
Yes, thank you, collective writers who we refer to as one writer, much like Homer or something. Like
Yes. Okay, so Clark goes to visit Lana at her theater and steps into her apartment to find her packing. She tells him that she's applied for late acceptance at Metropolis University, but there is no longer any housing available, so she is considering joining a sorority. Yeah, because that's how that works. Just a last minute, like, yeah, I guess I'll go check out if there's any housing at the sorority.
I mean,
do you think... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you first.
Do you think the writers were planning to not have Lana go to college, and then there was sudden like, oh, we don't know what to do with her if she's not at school with everybody, like they have in the last couple of fucking seasons?
Well, her big arc this season is Clark's girlfriend.
Step up as opposed to just over there not involved in Smallville.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna say, if you were 18 years old or 19 or whatever she is, and you had your own apartment, would you leave that setup for anything?
Right. That is so Clark is disappointed.
Like, I'm gonna wait until the next semester and then get my own apartment.
That
and
would
then
maybe
go to the fucking school.
What's the rush?
Yeah.
Clark is disappointed and suggests she go to CKU with him, but she assures him that nothing will change between them. Lana says something to the effect of, they don't have any classes I'm interested in. Which in the whole college, but what do I know? I don't really know how colleges work.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Chill in your apartment.
Wait, also, isn't this school in Metropolis?
It continues to be unclear the level of commuting distance that is required to get to Metropolis.
So she's in Metropolis. There's no apartments in Metropolis, Brian. She can't, like, live in another neighborhood and take the train.
Right. But she's gotta start now. Classes start.
Yeah,
she needs a place to live.
Zach,
you don't get it. Zach, a sorority's her only option.
They put it in the dialogue.
Clark is in a history lecture taught by Professor Milton Fine. Ooh, Wiki. Listen to this.
Oh no.
Clark
we need the wiki writers to get better because we're not writing recaps.
So, we're not doing it. We're here for the yucks. Clark is in a history lecture taught by Professor Milton Fine, who began roasting Lex Luthor when the latter turns up.
Wait, oh no. The tense changed a couple times. Oh no.
Yeah, Milton Fine, who began roasting Lex Luthor when the latter turns up.
That makes it sound like a ladder came in.
Yep. May
A
as well
ladder
have.
walked in and he climbed on it. This Professor Milton Fine of history, I know we touched on this before, but this is like every time he gives a lecture, he's talking about Luther Corp. This is a Western Civ class, Brian.
Are you okay, bud?
Yeah. Like you have an axe to grind, don't you? Also, it's still early in the semester and they're talking about Rome. If this is like Western Civ, I don't think we get to Rome for a little bit. We got to go through a lot of stuff before we get to Rome.
I guess so. That's a good point. But
Unless-
Milton Fine, he doesn't play by the rules.
Maybe Clark took Western Civ Part 1 in high school, and this is like the second part. The
That
part
makes
where
as
they
good a
talk
sense
about
as anything else.
Rome and, Luther Corp. The second part of Western Civ.
Works as well as anything else in this episode.
I do like this scene because he's giving a speech. He's bad-mouthing Luther Corp, and the way it's framed, Lex walks into the room and is like perfectly framed behind him. It's a really well-done little moment.
It is good.
No one notices Lex. Like, Lex is a famous billionaire.
Right.
He was missing. He's trapped on an island. He's been on the cover of several magazines. He was wanted for murder a few times. Like,
This is a notable man.
None of these college people notice that the guy their professor is talking shit about is standing behind him.
Networking. Like every kid in that fucking suck-up college wouldn't be like hands up like, I personally enjoy Lex Luthor.
Yes, exactly. I think he's a hero.
Yeah.
I will say there's only a few of them, but I think the Lex Milton Fine stuff is good in this episode. It's like has nothing to do with basically anything. I mean, they try to make it, but
right.
But it's good. It's solid. It's like the opposite of the Genevieve Teague storyline.
Agreed. I think Marsters is where he belongs in genre television.
Yes.
Like he's doing it's good, but like you're good at this specifically. Which
Exactly,
I wouldn't
yes.
be. It's better than me.
I like it when someone finds their niche, you know?
There you go.
Go. He's the best on-screen Brainiac. I'll say that.
Hey, no one can take that away from him unless they get
Brainiac.
a good Brainiac in a movie.
Unless they make a movie with Brainiac someday, which they apparently will never do for reasons unknown.
I guess not. So after actually, it doesn't count. the Brainiac from the cartoon's pretty good.
Yeah, but that's not live action. Sorry, live action.
Okay.
That's my mistake.
So after the lecture, Lex approaches Fine and accuses him of researching certain Luther Court projects that have yet to gain public knowledge. What is happening, Wiki? That have yet to gain public knowledge? He asks him if Clark Kent is providing the information, but Fine denies Clark's involvement. What are you just loose-lipping to Clark for? You guys haven't been friends in like 2 years.
It's an interesting Lex Clark couple of episodes because they're kind of conversing more and friendlier more. It's like awkward, but they're interacting more.
Which is a good spot. A good Clark Lex spot.
I do think so. I do think this is the best Clark Lex of the season, probably stuff of like.
Yes.
Like, we still are friendly-ish, but we both openly don't trust each other.
Right. So Fine denies that Clark is involved. Lex reminds Fine that he has a great influence in the CKU review board. The head of Tri-Sci, Buffy Sanders, clearly pulling.
What is that a reference to?
Nod.
What is that a reference
couldn't guess.
to?
I think it's an original character. Chloe in her narration expressed that she's changed the names.
Right, yes. So she is the one responsible for the terrible reference.
Right. Not
the
Gotham
writers.
Miller, not Stephen DeKnight.
It's Chloe. It's in the story. It's in the text.
So, if this is all coming from like Chloe's perspective and Chloe's narration, this entire episode, how does she know about the Lex and Fine conversation?
No. That's a separate narrative.
Is that part of the story?
That's a separate narrative.
So that's not in the article.
That's
that
not
makes
in the
sense.
article.
Why would
Yeah.
it be? That wouldn't be.
This
That
unrelated
wouldn't be
stuff.
good. That probably wouldn't be good to put in an article. That said, it was multiple pages. So the head of Tri-Sci, Buffy Sanders, introduces her sorority, as the prettiest and most exclusive sorority. Lana is one of the girls pledging to join and is surprised to find out that she is the only one that has been picked. They tell her that there is one more initiation ritual, and it is revealed that the entire sorority are vampires. They bite Lana, and she becomes part of the sisterhood immediately. No further vetting process.
Yeah, right.
Just,
And the
you're one of us
transformation
now.
is instant.
Pretty quick. Pretty harmless.
And just for the record, when they bite Lana, they do not bite her in the dick.
They don't bite her dick. Buffy slices her tongue, and then it's kind of implied via shadow that there is a smooch there.
Oh, I think it's more than
But
kind
they don't
of implied.
commit. Yes,
I think it's more than kind of implied.
You're right.
The shadow
I
is just
misspoke.
full on making out, isn't it?
You're right. I misspoke.
This is a very early 2000s episode of television.
Extremely. Just while we're on the topic of vampires, What We Do in the Shadows, its 5th season started on FX. It's very good. The current season is as good as it's ever been. It's on Fridays now. I don't think that's a good sign.
I mean, does it even matter anymore? It just goes.
I guess
it's
not.
all streaming, right?
I watch it on Hulu. I just open up Hulu and like, oh, there's a new episode of this.
Smallville was on Friday for like 3 seasons.
That's true. That's true. That said, What We Do in the Shadows. It's great. Okay, Fine goes to the Luthor mansion and tells Lex that he doesn't have to investigate his past because he will provide him with anything he wants to know. He just hands him a stack of papers. I'm like, that's everything. What's in there?
All the stuff Brainiac made up. It's not a real life.
What's on the... But even if you just had handed me 4 pages and was like, here's everything about Zach Rowe, be like, what's on those 4 pages?
Right. Yeah. Birth certificate, high school record, arrests, voting record.
I guess so.
Twitter posts. The best part about this scene is that Lex is playing pool in his private study.
Pool room.
Yeah. A bodyguard enters with Milton Fine, and then the bodyguard stands there in the room awkwardly for the entire scene.
I forgot about this.
Until the end of the scene, just so that when Milton Fine leaves, Lex can turn to him and say, "Follow him." And the guy's like, with pleasure.
You are almost correct. Unless I misheard it, Zach, I believe Lex just goes, "Follow." The word "follow," period. And it was amazing.
So. I don't think so.
I am... No, your, in fact, denial makes me now near positive.
I just like that Lex is having a secret conversation about blackmail and dirty secrets, and the bodyguard's just hanging out.
Just
now,
here.
That might make sense if that had ever happened before in the show, but the bodyguards never stay in the room.
Nope. But
maybe Lex was like,
I mean,
hey, if this guy shows up, I want you to stay in the room because I'm going to tell you to follow him afterwards. Okay?
Got it. We could and break. Okay, when Chloe returns to her dorm, her roommate Karen is dismantling her mini version of the Wall of Weird. Karen is annoyed by the wall and even angrier that Lana crashed the dorm and is sleeping in Chloe's bed. As Karen storms away, Chloe tries to awaken Lana, who is groggy and lethargic, and Chloe thinks she's hungover from the pledge party. Chloe uses the word hangover very smugly, like 3 times in this scene. I don't have a single example, but she's very proud every time.
Like she's judgmental.
Yes.
Okay, Chloe, you're at college. Get over it.
Fucking relax. Clark arrives and Chloe leaves her in his care. He asks if she's feeling okay, and she says she's fine and starts making out with him. Clark is surprised and confused by her aggressive advances, and she gets annoyed by his reluctance and leaves. Brooke, I feel like, is always having some fun when she gets to be anything. When she gets to do anything.
Right, yeah, exactly.
She does like to do things on the show.
Right. My guess is that she's like, this is really stupid, but at least I get to play something new. And so...
anything, period.
Yes, so she dives into it and gives it her all. And commits to the bit.
We find it admirable here.
But
on
I do
Talon
like the
Mix.
scene where she's like, God, are you going to be a little bitch and talk about your feelings or whatever she says to him? It's like, I'm out of here.
The guard Lex sent finds Fine at Warehouse 15. When he approaches and says Fine shouldn't be touching what isn't his, Fine claims otherwise and extends a metal spike from his hand, kills the guard, and goes back to examining the black ship.
They're really just like, why don't we do Brainiac, but if he's T-1000? That's basically what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like,
I don't hate
Brainiac as... No. I think it's a very good small vilification of that character.
Yes, for sure. Chloe's investigation continues, and she reports that Lana and her new friends have been throwing each other off the house's balcony and getting drunk. Clark is worried about Lana's strange behavior, and Chloe tells him that she's been investigating the sorority and has uncovered some strange details. None of the sisters ever leave the sorority, and it is the most exclusive one on campus. I don't think you're allowed to be a campus sorority where none of the sorority members go to classes at the college. I don't think that's allowed.
Wait, what? Is that...
It says...
I missed that.
I also missed that. I also have no recollection of they never leave, which...
Let's not tear at this Band-Aid. Let's not pull at this thread and...
Agreed. She makes a plan to infiltrate their Halloween costume party and brings Clark along. After managing to charm their way into the party, they split up to locate Lana. Chloe at one point gives Clark, the fake name, refers to Clark by the fake name of Carlos, the sorority vampire at the door whom they charm to get in, then tries to seductively say Carlos, but doesn't quite pull off that roll of the R, but is clearly trying to. And they left it like that.
No, I thought it was intentional. I thought it was supposed to be yeah, she's trying too hard, and yeah, that was the vibe I got from it.
Okay, maybe I picked it up wrong.
But in this sequence, there are maybe 25 Nietzsche lines.
All of it, just a boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. It's all about Clark's costume, and he's like, I'm not sure I like capes, and like the mask keeps sliding down my face. If I'm ever a superhero, I won't wear a mask. Yeah, what?
He is Zorro, to be clear.
Yeah. That would have been a Nietzsche line if he was Batman, just the costume itself.
There you go. Fun fact, this is the first time in the entire show Clark has worn a hat. 5 seasons.
You can't
one
cover
hat.
up that hair, you know? You can't cover up that hair.
No, it's gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous. So, after managing to charm their way into the party, they split up to locate Lana. Clark ducks into a bedroom where Buffy catches him rummaging. She orders him to leave, but she is distracted by someone at her door. And when she turns back to Clark, he is gone. Chloe finds Lana dancing and making out with a frat boy. They weren't making out, they were just dancing. And pulls her to the side. It was a very seductive dancing.
Yeah, I was going to say, rather seductively.
But I don't believe there was any smooching.
It was about, she was about to bite him in the dick. The mouth.
Got it.
Yeah. But it looked to Chloe like she was about to kiss him. And so she was like.
Got it. She asks her about how she's been acting, and Lana bites her in the neck. Chloe calls Clark for help, and he uses his super hearing to find her. He arrives to catch Chloe just as she passes out. Astonished to see Lana standing over her with a mouthful of bloody, pointed teeth. Vampire.
Vampire. Yes.
Oh, Kryptonite Vampires. This is... I can't... It's so funny that I was so like, Kryptonite Vampires, that's dumb. This is the exact episode I would have pitched if I wrote on Smallville. This is exactly...
For sure. Yes.
This is exactly
This is your Smallville spec script.
It's fucking Kryptonite Vampires. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, the explanation with the vampire bats and the kryptonite makes more sense than a lot of these kryptonite powers.
100%. This episode is incorrectly maligned. This okay episode is incorrect.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. This
slightly
below
this episode's
average.
Perfectly. Yeah. Hey, it's a little cheap and the pacing's a little weird.
It's got Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Does Carrie Fisher ever appear again?
No.
Weird to have her this be her one. So Clark takes Chloe to the hospital where the doctor reports that she has a rare strain of the rabies virus, which is preventing her red blood cells from regenerating. They can treat her with a transfusion, but they don't know the cure. Professor Fine arrives at the hospital claiming to be visiting a sick colleague. He asks about Chloe's condition, and Clark admits that he thinks she was attacked by a vampire. And it's always funny in these types of shows. Fine's response is not, haha, what? It's always, with always dead seriousness, like, vampires aren't real, Clark.
Yeah. I also love how lazy Brainiac is with his manipulation of Clark. He's like, shows up in this random part of the hospital. They're in Metropolis. It's got to be a big hospital.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, it's visiting a friend in this same ward.
Don't
Weird.
think about it. Fine looks at Chloe's chart and tells him to ask Lex about Project 1138.
He's got to stop naming projects numbers. You know,
can we give him like cool names?
Yeah,
Lex?
exactly.
But he's got so many fucking projects; they can't all have cool names. They'd start to get doubled up.
That's true. Yeah, Project Philip.
Yeah, just name them like storms.
Yeah, exactly.
Back at the Tri-Psi sorority, the other girls are mad at Lana for leaving a victim alive. They tell her that Clark was snooping. So you can't just kill a bunch of college students at a fucking sorority party and then keep having these sorority parties. Eventually, I'm going to say the following thing. I'm going to go hard. I've been to my fair share of parties. I've never seen someone die at a party, and I've never been to a party where someone subsequently died participating in that party.
That you know of.
Not once. What's that? That I know of. That I know.
That you know of.
That I know of. I feel like a sorority party and like 3 to 5 people die every time.
Right. Yes, that's gonna turn some heads eventually.
Eventually.
Unless
Maybe
these
not
are
in Smallville, but in Metropolis? Come on.
are they all loner pizza guys that are disappearing, or
That must be it. That must be. Yeah, right. No one comes looking for the pizza guy. Like, his last delivery was here, and then
His
no one
car
saw him again.
is out front?
He's here.
Yeah, it's parked.
We didn't bite his dick off.
His dick is still on his body. That's for sure.
Back at the Tri-Size sorority, the other girls are mad at Lana for leaving a victim alive. They tell her that Clark was snooping around and she has to clean up her mess by bringing him back so they can finish him off, or Lana will be the one they feed off of instead. Clark goes to the Luther mansion and demands that Lex tell him about the project. Lex leads Clark into the library carrying a metal briefcase. He explains that 6 years ago, Buffy Sanders was trapped in a cave outside of Smallville, but was rescued by Luther Corp. The cave was found to contain meteor rock-infested stalactites that had mutated the vampire bats living there. A Luther Corp worker was also bitten and developed vampire-like symptoms like strength, fangs, and light sensitivity, but they were able to cure him. He opens the case to reveal vials of the serum, kept active by a large fragment of meteor rock. Once again, Clark, it would have been so easy to just be like, oh, I got meteor freaked. There's precedent for this.
I love he just barges into this fucker's house who he's estranged with, and he's just like, Lex, tell me about the rabies. I'd be like, get the fuck out of my house, teenager. We're not friends anymore. You punched me in the face.
Security? Where's security?
Where's that bodyguard?
Oh, right.
Where's that bodyguard who was just hanging out in the room?
Clark starts to feel ill and backs away just as an overhead window breaks. Lana appears and jumps to the floor. She knocks Lex out and attacks Clark. Clark is weakened by the kryptonite and Lana bites him. After sucking his blood, she is able to shoot heat from her eyes. Is she just fucking soaking her pants through right now? Is that how heat vision works on ladies?
Oh, I
She's
almost
so
forgot.
hot for being a vampire.
There is a Lex concussion.
Great pickup.
Yeah, let me get the thing.
Clark is able to grab one of the syringes and with the antidote in it before Lana takes him back to the sorority house. The sorority girls lay Clark on the hearth of the fireplace and prepare to feed on him. Lana doesn't want to kill him and suggests they turn him into a vampire as well. The girls explain there's no room for Clark in a sorority. Buffy doesn't care what Lana wants, and when Lana stands in her way, she knocks her to the floor. But, so, in your whole sorority, and there's only like 5 of you, it's at no point has anyone just been like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like,
right.
I'll go start my own fucking hangout.
Why do they need to be in the sorority? They have a mortal life. Like, they can go do anything. Housing
for college. It's all in the text. It's all there. Knocks Lana to the floor. Buffy tries to kill Lana, but she uses her heat vision to vaporize Buffy, and the other vampires run away in fear. It's that simple. It's just Lana gets a boner, and I don't even know if there's a huge melting or dusting effect. It literally, I looked down at my daughter's bottle, and I looked up at the screen, and Buffy was gone.
So, Lana murders a girl in this episode. She murders
Straight up. An evil vampire.
Well, or just a girl infected with a weird strand of rabies. Lana murders her.
That is curable. That is totally curable.
Yes, it's curable. Lex had a whole briefcase full of cures. What happens to the rest of those girls?
Yeah, because Lana just told them to leave.
So they're just out there
They're
roaming.
there are just a couple of vampires running the streets. Interesting. Interesting. So how many more has Lana killed? By association. So let's see. Lana prepares to turn Clark into a vampire, but he's able to stab her heart with an antidote and restore her to normal. Clark and Lana are walking along campus when he tentatively asks her how much she remembered. It's always funny, and this is just comes with the territory of the show, but like, how long have the two of you been like walking together? How many days has it been? And Clark is finally like, so how much do you remember about that vampire stuff? We haven't talked about it, but
I mean, if she hasn't brought up the powers by this point, she doesn't remember. Memory loss.
Yeah, there it is, baby.
First one of the season.
Wow, 5 episodes.
Yep. First Lex
she admits-
concussion, first memory loss. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good. She admits that it's all a little fuzzy, but she remembers biting him and says she felt his love for her and his strength. She says she misses being with him. You've been gone for an episode.
It's like we're talking days.
Days. And your boyfriend can run real fast. You don't know that, though, because he's lying to you. Because he's a big liar.
Lying / making you feel like you're going insane.
Yep. Clark goes to the Luthor mansion to thank Lex for saving the girls' lives. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they netted him out later. Just threw nets. Gotcha.
But not the girl that got vaporized.
No. They don't ever talk about Lana. Just never. Buffy. I don't remember a Buffy. Weird.
I guess if there's no body, you know.
There you go. That is true. If there is no body, you're free and clear. It's legal, baby. Clark goes to the Luthor mansion to thank Lex for saving the girls' lives. Lex gets Clark to admit that Professor Fine is the one who told him about Project 1138 and tells him that Fine is obtaining highly classified documents. He warns Clark to stay away from Fine. Chloe's report concludes with the knowledge that all the girls were cured, including herself, except the one that was vaporized. Her roommate is freaked out and transfers away to NYU, so Lana is able to move into the same dorm with her. At least we're getting Lana in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
As opposed to just elsewhere. Putting Lana in close proximity to Chloe when Chloe knows and Lana doesn't makes sense to me when you spill it out on the
No, that's smart. It's smart. Yeah.
You know,
it's good story choice.
Right. So she gives the article to Pauline Kahn, but Kahn claims that they don't print tabloid stories like The Inquisitor. Yeah, Chloe, your vampire story was going to be a little tough. Chloe counters with the research she did for the article, including interviews, CDC reports, and eyewitness accounts. I guess if you can get Luthor Corp to be like, yeah, we made a vampire serum, it might be newsworthy.
That would be newsworthy, yeah.
Khan changes her mind, says that Chloe has potential, and offers to hire her. Chloe is thrilled to start her dream career in the Daily Planet basement. It is funny. The line starts as funny as she was willing to start at the bottom. Well, actually, the basement. That was funny. And then she gives a little monologue here where we get some Nietzsche lines here about how the paper writes about politicians and superheroes, and then says that her career is about to go up, up, and away. We see what you did there, because it's a show about Superman, Zach. Because he's gonna be Superman.
I did like the bit when Clark is visiting Lex. In the background, there are workers repairing the broken window that Lana jumped through. It's a nice little touch.
Love that. Just kind of scanning through the wiki right now. There's featured music this episode. I feel like we haven't had a lot of needle drops.
Yeah,
this
it's all
season
like
so far.
really loud, obnoxious, like
We
alt-rock.
got Wicked Lil Girls from Estero, Guiltless by Martin Gretsch, Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus, Deadfall by The Swear, Girls Attractive, Diamond Nights, Abandoned by The Swear, and Set the Grass on Fire by Elysian Fields. Bela Lugosi's Dead is a great song name.
Definitely, but I don't think any of those songs will be appearing on the year-end
I don't
awards
think so.
circuit.
Needle Drop of the Year is wide open. Nothing wide open. No idea how this is gonna go.
I have an idea of what's coming, and I know there's a big one.
Great. Oh, love it. Just cold scanning right now. No Lois this episode. No Lionel. No Martha Kent. No Jonathan Kent. This is the first episode where only half the cast appears.
Brian. Coldplay, when he nutted to Coldplay. That was
when he nutted to Coldplay was good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
When Wheat Boy nutted to Coldplay.
How would Wheat Boy do versus what would Lana? So when Lana bites Clark,
she
gets
biting
some
into
of his
some
powers.
Cream of wheat, some shredded wheat.
Just starts puking cream of wheat.
Just Wheaties, yeah. Just like eating a bunch of Wheaties. She go, I didn't have breakfast, so this is perfect.
Great. So in the UK, depending on the
God, Wheat Boy would definitely call his you-know-what cream of wheat for
Oh, yeah.
He'd say,
I don't
baby,
know.
you want some cream of wheat?
We don't know a ton of things about Wheat Boy, but we know that about Wheat Boy for sure.
Oh, man.
In the UK, depending on the time of day that the episode is broadcast, you either see Lana bite Clark's neck, as we saw it, but if they air it earlier in the day, they cut the bite out. You see her lean in, and then they cut it.
They must then cut off the dick biting.
You don't see the dick biting; it is merely implied.
I know, but they gotta cut off the part where the girl, like, at least goes under.
Not according to the wiki. Pauline Kahn is most likely derived from Paul Levitz and Jeanette Kahn, two high-ranking executives of DC Comics. Clark wears a hat for the first time in the series. And then a memorial dedication to Smallville crew member Kimberly Regent appears in this. She died of lymphoma in May 2005. It was shown at the conclusion of the episode. I remember it up top. I feel like I got that, and then I don't know. But also, my brain is broken. I watch these while I feed my daughter in the morning. And so take nothing. Looking for trivia here. Goff and Miller said in the DVD commentary, this is the worst episode they ever made. This is Smallville's first Halloween episode. Colin Lawrence, the Doctor in this episode, previously appeared on Smallville as Agent Stalker in Gone, and will reappear in Turbulence as Captain Nichols.
Well, they're just triplets.
There you go. That works out. No reason that can't be.
Switched at birth. They were adopted out to different families. They had different last names.
Right. Late Glee actor Corey Monolith appears in this episode as a fraternity student.
Who does not get his dick bitten off.
That is correct. His dick remains intact. When Milton Fine references Project 1138, it is most likely a reference to George Lucas. George Lucas's THX 1138. Do you think? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. 100%.
Got it. Angelica Barron was Courtney, maybe one of the sorority girls. Also played Erica Fox in the season 1 episode Tempest. Jack Jennings is mentioned in the beginning of the episode when Pauline Kael asks for a piece on Senator Jennings. The Jack Jennings will play an important role in next week's episode. So that's interesting.
Like it. That's nice. They drop a little. Yeah, they're planning ahead.
I like a little something. Okay, interesting. Later in the series, when Green Arrow impersonates Clark's future attire in Identity, he tells Clark he should try wearing a cape sometime. But Clark says, not in this lifetime. However, in this episode, he says that he kind of likes wearing one. The man's allowed to change his mind.
He's talking to different people. You say different things around different people,
For sure. That's true.
I might
That's
tell you I
kind
of like a cape, but then in front of other people, like, no, capes. Capes are stupid.
Right. Let's see. We got some a large list of allusions here. Stephen S. DeKnight, who wrote this episode, also wrote several episodes of Buffy and Angel. Lornan Vandervoot, who will become a main character on the show, is reportedly a huge fan of Buffy, which I guess is interesting. And then they mention here that Buffy has a couple of similar episodes to Smallville. And let's be clear, Smallville has a couple of similar episodes to Buffy. Let's be very clear on that.
And the X-Files also has a bunch of similar episodes to Smallville, too.
Right. Lana's costume resembles Catwoman, a longtime enemy of Batman. That's a stretch. Chloe's sure looks like generic cat costume to me.
Yeah.
Chloe's costume resembles Jeanette from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That might be even further of a stretch. unless you think they dressed Chloe as a character from a 2004 action role-playing game for the PlayStation 2. Who knows? Maybe.
I thought she was Britney Spears.
Professor Fine's visit to Clark and Chloe in the hospital is similar to Professor Van Helsing when he meets Jonathan Harker and Lucy is bitten in Dracula.
No, stop it. Stop it.
I guess that's everything for this episode. Once again, we already talked, I think, at length about it. It's not as bad as its reputation.
No.
It's no spell. It's no spell.
No, of course. It's no spell, but it's also no Zero.
No, it's way better than Zero. I'd take this over Zero 10 times. There is no episode worse than Zero. Period. God.
There are 0 episodes worse than Zero.
That's it. You got it right there. Hey, this has been our Smallville Recap Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We have a Patreon if you're into that kind of thing. There's a link in the description. Obviously, don't give us any money if that's like any kind of financial hardship. But what you can do, what's totally free, is, hey, maybe give this 5 stars on your podcasting app of choice or leave a review. That really does actually help us out and make us feel good. Even the bad reviews, I do like to just be acknowledged. Acknowledge me in some capacity when I talk to you at a Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, guy on cell phone.
Yeah, guy on cell phone, alone at Ninja Turtles. I was also alone at Ninja Turtles. Just 2 ships in the night. 2 ships in the night.
That's like if you went by another ship at the night and you're like, hey, any good news? And the other ship was just looked at you and then just kept going.
That's I think just what that whole saying means. Zach, do you have a question for the Smallville gods?
Yeah, I just straight up. This is not original. I just want to know: was the implication there that kid was getting his dick bitten?
Good night, everybody.